Good afternoon. I'm David Talbot, Managing Director and Head of Research here at Red Cloud Securities. Our next presentation is from Labrador Uranium. I introduce Stephen Keith, the CEO of the company. Now, Labrador Uranium is a subsidiary of Consolidated Uranium right now that is focused on consolidation, acquisition, development, and exploration of projects specifically focused on the Central Mineral Belt in Labrador. So Stephen, you're going to have about 10-12 minutes to speak, and then we'll have a Q&A session at the end. Attendees, please feel free to ask questions using the Q&A link. Take it away.
Thank you, David. I really appreciate it. So look, for those of you that have done these before, they're making us tight on time. So if I speak too quickly, I apologize. But thank you for taking your time, and welcome to Labrador Uranium. So Labrador Uranium, our first press release was out this Monday. We are a district scale target-rich exploration company focused on Labrador. And I will launch, if my presentation allows me, straight into the presentation. So we've signed a deal with, we're coming of age as of this week. So Consolidated Uranium is spinning out Labrador Uranium, and with it, their asset in uranium in Labrador called the Morin Lake deposit. It is a uranium vanadium deposit with a historical resource. With that deal, we also acquired the majority of the Central Mineral Belt in Labrador, which is 125,000 hectares of mineralized belt that has been explored for over 50 years and was the location of at least 6 different companies' exploration plans and programs in the last uranium boom. Our plan is to list the shares on the Canadian Securities Exchange, targeting doing that this January. Look, we are a very market-focused company with a lot of experience in the mining and investment sector. We believe strongly that assets and jurisdictions are critical, but fundamentally, you also have to have the right teams that our job is not to build projects. Our job is to make money for investors. And so as such, you explore, you do the work, but when you find something that doesn't work, you move on. When you find something that does, you focus. And that's why so often I start not with the asset, but the team. So Consolidated Uranium has had a great win for their investors over the last few years. Their CEO will remain with Labrador Uranium as our executive chairman, so that, obviously protecting that investment for the shareholders. Altius is also going to be one of our partners. They're based in St. John's, Newfoundland, have an exceptional global reputation, but more importantly, locally, and have access to all sorts of projects. And that gives us an incredible strength and an asset base. Assets then become the key. We have now control 125,000 hectares along the Central Mineral Belt. There's an early to advanced uranium exploration project. There is an existing historical resource that we own on the far west end of this. And on the far east end, the other bookend, is Paladin's Michelin project, which is a 100 million pound uranium deposit owned by a third party, but that comes. So this is an area that is highly mineralized with all sorts of showings of uranium as well as other metals. It is a bona fide uranium camp, but also has hundreds of showings of copper, IOCG, gold, rare earths. It is a very exciting basin to have control of. And we have exposure to all of that. And most importantly, we are in Labrador. Labrador is considered by the Fraser Institute the 8th best place to invest in mining in the world. Their premier, Dwight Ball, is very mining friendly and would like to see 5 new mines built in the province by 2030. So look, we've got the team and the assets, and sometimes it's nice to be lucky. I've been parts of ups and downs in the commodities markets, and it's kind of nice to hit a market when your commodity is in favor. So it's nice to be in uranium, but this isn't about just the timing play. Our founders and where this company has been built are long uranium believers. That is what we're doing, and the timing is right to build this uranium company. So we've been launched by successful asset generators. So Altius Minerals, they're a 650 market cap company. They're bringing to this the entire Central Mineral Belt, as well as the Notakwanon project. And for that, they will get 8 million shares in the new companies, plus a royalty over all the assets. Consolidated Uranium, on the other hand, is contributing the Morin Lake project, which has a historical resource. They will get 16 million shares, which they will, when we go public, then dividend those shares out to their shareholders. So that shareholder base will become our shareholder base. We think we have an exceptional team. I am a professional engineer, ex-investment banker. I've been running companies on this side of the equation for about 10 years now. Greg Duras is a great chief financial officer, has worked in several public companies before, which gives me the confidence in our ability for corporate governance. Bill Williams will remain our executive chairman. We have strategic advisors and people like Richard Patricio, the CEO of Mega Uranium, one of the founders of this company, and Justin Reed, who's helped us. And where I really like Justin, he has got a great track record, but more importantly, as an advisor, he was also executive GM at Paladin, in charge of M&A, and they're the ones that bought the Michelin deposit, which is the east end of what we have. And that project was sold for over $200 million in 2011. We do believe that as an exploration company, we have to be focused on having the right people in place. We have some very good consultants and partners in the east coast of Canada, based Terrain Geoscience, Altius, and Ronica McKenzie. We brought Paul Pearson on board because there's so much data to get through on these projects. And Paul actually won the Gawler Challenge in Australia, which was a challenge to find new methods of discovery of deposits using different methodologies, especially technology and AI, and that is something that will end up applying to this project. And it's great to have Paul on board. In a nutshell, this is the company. So we have 125,000 hectare land package in the Central Mineral Belt. It's basically most of the Central Mineral Belt. In our first pass of doing work, which I'll show you in a second, we generated over 140 targets that merit further look. So, whereas a lot of companies have 2 or 3 targets that you should be exploring, we actually have 146. So we actually have to spend some time refining that down. Our cornerstone piece is the Morin Lake project. There is a historical uranium and vanadium resource there. So our starting point is very, very good from which we want to grow. And then the last piece of the asset, so this is all in the Central Mineral Belt over here. The last asset we have is up here called Notakwanon, whereas the Central Mineral Belt has been explored for about 50, 60 years, and there's incredible amounts of data, which we now own, and having consolidated that basin. Notakwanon is a relatively new discovery, and it's a very exciting one that I'll get into in a second. We use the Aurora energy resources just as a case study for a few reasons. It's exactly the east end of our land package. It is a 100 million pound uranium deposit. It was originally founded by groups like Altius Minerals owned 43% of this. And when it started, its maiden resource at that point in time was about 35 million pounds of uranium. Today, we sit at 33 million pounds equivalent in a historical basis, and that's what we hope to grow. And in that time, by the end of it all, they sold that company for over $200 million at a time where in this province, there was actually a moratorium on uranium. That moratorium is gone. It's a very mining friendly and development friendly place. And now all of a sudden we've got a new uranium market. Beforehand, 6, 7 different companies were exploring this region. We've consolidated and we have it all ourselves. So it's a Central Mineral Belt is 260 kilometers long, 75 kilometers wide, dozens of uranium and other hits in the area. And our job is now to grow that. We've done that using all this significant historical data. Again, 50, 60 years of work by dozens of companies we now own. All that geophysics, all that work we've been able to synthesize with those different partners we have. And in the first pass, we came up with 146 targets. On the second pass, we ranked them and determined that 70% of those targets are high priority. So high to moderate priority. They're not all uranium. We've got a lot of copper, we have IOCG and other things. So we actually have many ways to build company and build value. And now our job is to get on the ground and prove it. So Morin Lake anchors the west end. It's a known resource. It has to grow. $25 million has been spent on that to date. We're the net beneficiary. The CMB project, what we've done in the last few months, we've actually spent $1 million on that project in the last year before making this announcement. That was synthesizing those decades of data, getting through the process to prioritize and coming up with that 146 targets. We went into the field, we field proofed it, we took samples, and now we're going to keep going through that iteration. The next phase, once those sample data come back, we're going to go through a machine learning AI program, such that by the time we take this company public in the first quarter of next year, we'll be ready to hit the ground running, permitting field camps, getting drills and field teams ready, and testing our #1 targets. And the beauty is we have many. And then the last project within it, so down, if you look, this is the Michelin deposit. This is the Central Mineral Belt down here. Up here is this new discovery called Notakwanon. Very underexplored, not a lot done there, but to think about it, in less than a year, 20 uranium occurrences, 3 clear targets with grab samples that go between 1.8 to 3.5% uranium. This is a target that merits a lot of work. And what's different is down in the Michelin type area, it's all structural and alteration based mineralization. There's all sorts of weird stuff going on, which makes it crazy, but a little different for uranium. The Notakwanon target is more traditional basement style uranium deposit. And we really can't wait to get in and discover what that is and see how that grows. So really, that's it, guys. It is a fairly straightforward story. We're spinning this out to focus specifically on Labrador and specifically on exploration. We're putting together a geology and market-focused team. The geologists are going to go use decades of data to prioritize holes so we can then start developing it. And in the meantime, our job is to spend the money wisely, grow this company, and prove out what we have. It will take a few years. This is an exploration play with, again, 100 targets, but done properly, we are very confident that not only are we going to find much more uranium, but frankly, we think that there's a lot more that's going to come out of this. And I think that's it for the time. And before David starts yelling at me, I'll hand the field back over to you. But before that, thank you everyone for your time and for taking the time to listen in on our story. We're new, but we think this is going to be a very exciting story, and please watch this space.
Yeah, thank you very much. Great presentation, Stephen. I don't yell at anybody unless they're my kids. So Morin Lake, you know, it has a sizable uranium vanadium resource there. Are you going to focus on moving that forward, or are you going to push for more grassroots exploration elsewhere?
Look, you're not going to love the answer. It's a bit of column A, a bit of column B. I don't want to go into Morin Lake and just change it from a historical to a measured and inferred resource if it doesn't change the volume or size. As is today, that's not a mine. It's too small to be anything. What we do want to chase at Morin Lake is where are the extensions? And now that we have all the land around it, the questions are, is it a singular extension? Is it multiple pods? We don't know. So one of the I sort of see 3 areas of concentration. One is absolutely around there because you've got it. You've got uranium, you've got vanadium. How do we grow it if we can? And that is, frankly, the easiest thing to do, but we need to see. The Notakwanon with those kinds of grades are also pretty hard not to do. So I think we'll end up doing a few things at once. But to be direct, yeah, I think going in and around that will be a priority.
Yeah, okay, Notakwanon, you know, that area, like you said, isn't well known. I've never been there before, but it's high grade. It looks to be drill ready. Is that something you're going to start drilling immediately next year?
We hope to. And the reason I say that is this, Labrador is a great place to work. And in the Southern District along the Central Mineral Belt, the local communities and Indigenous groups are very much in favor of what we're doing. Altius has established a great relationship, and we've got some good local partners that doing work there is easier and better. Notakwanon is trickier permitting wise. It's not the permits can't be gotten. It will take time. So we're starting that process now. Permits pending. Absolutely, I would put a drill on that. And there's just not a lot more due to the size of what's up there and what's there. Whether or not it's some giant hole, we do need to get some holes in there to start understanding the geology better. So permits pending, yes.
Okay, and the Central Mineral Belt, you know, it's considered good IOCG or iron ore copper gold terrain. You know, if there's an obvious copper gold target that's one of a high priority in your books, would you consider spending exploration dollars there to figure out what you've got?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, I think, yes, of course, we're a uranium company and that's our DNA. But the job of any good management team is to make investors money. And it is, I think, ignorant. When you have a package this big with that much potential, you don't give up on something significant. Look, if you make some great discovery, firstly, great. But if it takes focus off, then with 125,000 hectares, do you spin that out? Do you create something new? But that's a long way to say, yeah, we've actually given a very clear directive to the geologists not to put blinders on. There's a lot of opportunity out here, and the key is what's going to bring the greatest value.
Okay, and getting the value, you know, ultimately you've got to drill these. Out of the 140 targets, how many might be drill ready?
I wish I knew. You know, this is one of the areas where I have trouble because we haven't finished these first processes. The reports aren't out yet. And some of that's also a matter of what drills are available. Obviously, we can drill in and around both Notakwanon and around Morin Lake. After that, it is an embarrassment of riches, and we really have to refine, because we've taken 146 targets. We found 70% of them are priorities, so that's what, 90. Again, that's still a little ludicrous. So I think we've got to keep refining, and then it depends, right? From a geological point of view, are you drilling a specific target because it's a high priority, or are you drilling something so you can get underground and figure out what the heck's actually going on in an area that's so deformed? I know that's not necessarily the answer you're looking for, but it's a process. And right now I'm going to let many much smarter geologists make that determination. I think by the time we go public, we will be more clear on that, because by then we'll have finished off the 43 101s and have a clearer view.
Perfect. Okay, sounds great. Very exciting. So thank you, Stephen.